The Derby, of course, is Kentucky, from mint juleps to the playing of my old Kentucky home. The Preakness is Baltimore, from crab cakes to the playing of Maryland, my Maryland. And similarly, the Belmont Stakes is New York, from the cab driver's accent when he brings you out here to the playing of the sidewalks of New York, which will be coming up quite soon. There is, of course, no horse going for the Triple Crown this year, but this race, like the other two, can very easily stand alone. Many people, in fact, think that this is the Turnus test, to ask 3-year-old horses, many of whom have already been in the Derby and in the Preakness, to come here and run that far, 1.5 miles at this early age in their careers. And 1.5 miles on this track is just once around because it's the longest race course in America. This continues to be the springtime of the senior citizen in American sport, from Jack Nicklaus to Whittingham and Shoemaker and so forth. In fact, at the breakfast here just the day before yesterday, we had 3 trainers, all of whom have horses in this race. Charlie Whittingham, age 73, Woody Stevens, 72, and Walt Kelly, who at age 79 has his first entry in the Belmont Stakes. Let's take a look right now as the odds in the race as they stand right now. The colors on the left of your screen next to the horse number, that's the saddlecloth number, indicates the colors of the racing silks that the jockey of that horse will be carrying. Bobby Forbes at 20-1, Bordeaux Bob at 16-1, and Parade Marshal at 17-1. All are long shots. Mogambo, one of the favorites, at 4-1. Personal Flag at 7-1. 5 more horses. John's Treasure at 9-2. A good deal of support for Walt Kelly's horse. Ferdinand at 9-2, and Danzig Connection at 7-1. Imperious Spirit at 55-1. But look at this. Rampage, surprisingly, is the favorite in the race at 5-2. Out on the track right now is our reporter on the track, Charlie Canty. A little damp out there. Perhaps you, Charlie, can give us a more specific report on the racetrack.
I can give you a very specific report, Jim. This track is pure sloppy. But bear in mind that Belmont Park is a very sandy composition, and it has a very firm base, and moisture only makes it faster. So the earlier races today, speed has been holding up, and the times have been sprightly. It's raining pretty good. The track is not going to slow up any. It'll be quick. Back to you, Jim.
The driest of our ABC Sports team today, I think, at least at the moment, will be Jack Whittaker, because he's in the jockey room with the man of the moment in many ways, the man who won the Derby at age 54, Bill Shoemaker.
Thank you, Jim. Bill, you and Ferdinand were 20 lengths out and came from behind to win the Derby. You were 14 lengths out and came second in the Preakness. Should we assume that you might not be quite that far back today?
I doubt if he'll be that far back, but again, it depends on the pace, Jack. If the pace is very fast, he'll be back, and if it's slow, he'll be laying a lot closer than he would be.
Well, no horse likes to get mud slapped in his face, does he?
No, they don't, and of course, he's never had any mud slapped in his face because he's never run in the mud, so that's an unknown thing that we'll just have to find out whether he likes it or not.
And the distance, he seems to be bred for it, though, doesn't he?
Oh, I think he'll get the trip all right.
Okay. How many sets of goggles are you going to wear?
I'm going to wear about 4.
Okay. There were a lot of rumors about him being scratched because of track conditions, but this, as Charlie said, is not a slow track at all.
No, it's got a good bottom on it, Jack. The only thing that we're going to have to worry about is if he gets a hold of it and he likes it, and if he can handle the mud slapping in his face. That's the 2 problems that we worry about a little bit.
Okay, and you're going for a 6th, the record-tying 6th Belmont. Good luck. Have a safe trip.
Thank you, Jack.
All right. Once again, here's Jim McKay.
Okay, and I'm sure watching eagerly at home in California is Amanda, his little daughter, whom he greeted after winning the Kentucky Derby. The first post parade in the history of American racing took place in this Belmont Stakes in the year 1880. Nowadays, of course, every race on every program gets a post parade. Number 1 is Bobby Forbes, ridden by Vince Bracciale out of Maryland. He has won in the mud. He won the General George Stakes at Pimlico in this kind of going, but was disqualified from first place. 4th in the Jersey Derby behind Snow Sheep. Likes to eat peppermints, this guy. Number 2, another long shot, is Bordeaux Bob. He won the Count Fleet in the mud at Aqueduct in the month of January of this year. Was claimed for $37,500 earlier in his career. Number 3 from the Green Tree Stable, which is attempting to win its 5th Belmont Stakes, is Parade Marshal. He was a good 3rd to Danzig Connection 13 days ago in the Peter Van Stakes. Could have a chance. Number 4, one of the favorites here, is Mogambo, owned by Peter Brandt, trained by Leroy Jolly. Jockey Jose Santos is the leading rider at Belmont right now. He won the Champagne Stakes here last fall on this track, however, has been very inconsistent since then. Most recently was a good second to Snow Chief in the Jersey Derby. Number 5, Personal Flag, was unraced as a 2-year-old, but now has won 3 races in a row, the last by 5.5 lengths. George Velasquez up. Number 6, John's Treasure, that's old Walt Kelly's horse, ridden by the great Lafitte PINGAY Jr. He also was unraced as a 2-year-old. Number 7, the Kentucky Derby winner, Ferdinand, second in the Preakness Stakes to Snow Chief, Bill Shoemaker up. You know that story by now. And there's the man at age 54, still riding on in perhaps the greatest career of any jockeys in the history of the American turf. Number 8 is Woody Stevens' horse, Danzig Connection, with another top rider, Chris McCarron, in from California. He was third in the mud in an allowance race here last August. That's his one appearance in this kind of conditions. Danzig Connection won his first stakes race, though, just 13 days ago here in the Peter Pan. Number 9, long shot Imperious Spirit, was second in the California Derby to Vernon Castle, but recently finished no better than 7th in the Will Rogers at Hollywood Park. But his connections think he has a shot, and Ruben Hernandez is riding him. Number 10, the favorite in the race, and that's something of a surprise, is Rampage, winner of the Arkansas Derby in extremely fast time on a track very much like this one, on a sloppy track. Rampage, ridden by Pat Day. He has been unraced since he had a very difficult trip in the Kentucky Derby. Can he win with that long a layoff? Well, no horse has in the Belmont Stakes in more than 30 years. By the way, Rampage was bought at auction for $18,000 because he had a turned-out rear hoop despite his great breeding. So it's almost time for the race. Let's take another break. We'll be back.